Make sure we all good. Uh,
Yes, sir.
Everything's all set up. We ready to go. How you doing today, Garrett?
I'm good. How you doing? How you holding up?
Oh man, I'd be lying if I said it was an easy week to be an Auburn Tiger, man. Usually we chant it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, but this week been rough to me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hey, I got a new mic. Can you hear me okay?
yeah, you just fine. Sound good.
Bet.
Sound clear. And I
Bet.
got the
Appreciate
Ethernet
it.
cord set up, so we shouldn't be lagging out. None of that extra stuff that we was doing last
Alright.
time.
Let's hope.
Okay. I mean, start it up. You asked how I was holding up, so I guess that means we can start with the Auburn Tigers this week. And as we all know, there is two teams that have been defeated in the state of Alabama. Uh, a really unfortunate loss. I'm gonna start with the refs just so we get out of the way. I don't want to cry too long about the refs, but I'd be lying to say, you know, you shouldn't leave the game in the refs' hands. With that being said, the refs tried to do everything they can to have it in their hands. I would say like multiple missed calls. The fumble to me, he took 2 steps, tried to tuck the ball. That's took 2 to 3 steps actually. To me, that's enough that warrants a football move. I don't understand how there was enough to quote unquote overturn it. But the refs saw what they saw. They made the call that they did. They apparently in their minds they saw enough to overturn it. I can't. I'm not the refs. And then you know me and you talked about this, and then the SEC came out, so I didn't even come prepared with the rule because the SEC said it. So we are all informed that yes, Oklahoma got away with cheating. I don't like their OC. He tried to cheat multiple times during the game. A lot of illegal screenplays. They didn't always work out. But let's say I'm not a big fan of their OC. I'll say that a lot of missed calls. Um, and without them, maybe the game's different. Maybe Auburn wins. That's all speculation. Auburn lost. So I don't want to whine about it. I just want to make it clear. In my opinion, the refs changed the game. With that being said, you cannot win against a top 15 team on the road with 13 penalties and 10 sacks. You can It's not going to happen. And if you do, that team is not a top 15 team. It's just straight up. Uh, to be honest, uh, obviously we didn't win. Could have won. A lot of opportunities to win, just couldn't get it done. There was too much to overcome. Uh, but that's the bad side. I will say I learned a lot from Auburn. I learned that their defense is coming ready to play. Their defense is not gonna, just slouch over. They're not gonna let what Sawyer Robertson did the first week throw 400 yards on us. Which, to me, watching the game against Sawyer Robertson, I thought he threw a lot of pick plays, a lot of screen passes, a lot of run after catch. So I didn't think the 400 yards was a legitimate 400 yards. I think there was some fraudulent plays that got him that 400 yards. And we worked on the tackling aspect of that. So we've improved in that category. Um, and no matter what everybody else thinks, I know my opinion on Jackson Arnold. This is the best quarterback we've had since Bo Nix. I'm sold on Jackson Arnold. He missed a critical throw to Cam Coleman. There was two throws that everybody's talking about. One of them is on Cam Coleman. He stopped. That's Cam Coleman's fault. And there was another one that he just overthrew. And that's okay. Sometimes that just happens. You miss them. You wish to get it back. It doesn't always work that way. But I formed my opinion on Jackson Arnold. I don't want to keep talking. But one thing I did say, what Auburn has to do to win, I was going on about how Jackson Arnold's going to have his Heisman moment. I said Jackson Arnold's going to show up. He's going to have his Heisman moment. 4th and 11, game on the line. After a no-call pass interference you could have gave up. Jackson Arnold got that 4th and 11. And that, to me, showed heart. That, to me, if they would have won the game, would have been his I'm here. I'm a Heisman candidate moment. They would have been talking about that moment had Auburn had won the football game. It didn't go that way, but that's all I have to open with. I know that was a lot, so I'm gonna let you respond.
Yeah. So I'm not going to spend too much time harping on the refs. I think it was very clear that it was not a well officiated game. But at the end of the day, you hear the saying, uh, you got to control what you can control. At the
Right.
end of the day, you can't control the refs, so you just got to handle what you can control. It sucks, but that's just how it is. Like you said, the 13 penalties and 10 sacks, unacceptable. I know you're not happy with that from your offensive line. Some of it was your offensive line, but there was a couple times Jackson Arnold just sat there and did not move.
Right. I will say,
And
but Hugh Freeze said in the early week presser, he said half and half. He said half
yeah,
was on the O line, half was on Jackson Arnold. Uh, so I'm just gonna believe my head coach.
yeah, no, I would agree with that. Just yeah, a lot of Jackson Arnold not moving around in the pocket like he should. But you give up 10 sacks, it's not solely on your quarterback. It's going to be your offensive line too. Um, there's a stat that I saw. Uh, Oklahoma had more sacks against Auburn than like 100 FBS teams. Like
Damn.
100 other FBS teams had the whole has have had the whole entire season so far. So that you don't deserve to win a football game when that happens. The fact that they almost did adds to no, I said last week, no such thing as a good loss, but could have been a lot worse. You give up
Right.
10 sacks and 13 penalties, and you're only losing by, what was it, seven after the safety? So,
Seven
not
after
bad.
safety. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. My biggest concern, I know this Oklahoma defense is really good, but my biggest concern is this Auburn offense. They just weren't able to move. 8 out of 12, they had 12 total drives. 8 of them went 15 yards or less. 4 out of 12 of those drives went backwards, went negative from where
Mm.
they started. So Auburn, their schedule's not getting any easier. That was a tough game going to Oklahoma. It was never going to be easy. It's only going to get harder. You still go to Texas A&M, who's the threat on offense. You still got Georgia. You still got Bama. Um, let's see, they got Missouri, who's looking good on offense. Arkansas is looking good on offense. Vandy's looking good on offense. So if they're able to move the ball a little bit more efficiently, then I mean, there's a lot of losable games on this schedule, as it always is with Auburn. That's not a secret. It's the reality of playing in the SEC and having Bama and Georgia as your two main rivals. Um, I guess my question is, how do they respond? It was a very emotional
Right.
game. Did they let it build them up, or does it kind of tear them down a little bit? Because if it's a little tear down, like you might get whooped next week. Because Texas A&M is legit. They are a good football team. Kyle Field's a tough place to play. Um, so how do you respond? A lot of what this offense was on Saturday was a lot of underneath stuff, some running, and then they finally, I know we said in the episode last week, they finally were trying to get Cam Coleman the ball a lot more, which I liked. Obviously wasn't enough to win the game, but he wasn't really touching the ball the first few games. He touched
Mm.
the ball a lot more, got a lot more targets. So I know you're happy to see that. Um, he's an alien. Why not throw it up to him?
Right.
I think Auburn's going to be just fine. My only question is, this season can go south very fast if this team does not kind of, reel it back in, refocus themselves. Don't take this loss too personally. Just go out and handle their business because they're a good football team. There's no doubt about that. As much as I hate to say it, they are a good football team.
Uh, I guess my rebuttal to the question is how they're gonna bounce back. I will say, which it's it's interviews. You're gonna say the right thing. Your media trained to say the right thing. But I watched the media interview today, after practice interview for Jackson Arnold, and he seemed very focused on this week. He was asked a lot of questions about last week, and he was like, we can't really control what's in the past. Which, like I said, your media trained to say the right things. But it sounded like his focus was in the right spot. Like, it's really hard because I know he's media trained. They're all media trained to say these things, but at least he's not, even if he is, just saying what he's been trained to say, at least he's not giving in to the temptation of going back and, dwelling on the past. I thought Hugh Freeze in the early week presser, he looked, he didn't look so mentally drained as much as he did after the game Saturday, and that's a relief to me. I think this team is ready to bounce back. Um, you know, the thing you said, there was a lot of them that went negative. I blame a lot of that on penalties. Number one, penalties killed us. There were a lot of drives we just couldn't get started, um, and there were some ugly. I think one of my problems of watching the game was, Hugh Freeze said all offseason, Jackson Arnold's biggest problem has been drop back passing. So why against the best defense that we're gonna face all year is the focus drop back passing? You know, I know that their front seven is really elite, but what's the difference between a first down sack and a first down incompletion and a first down 1 to 2 yard rush? What's the difference? 2 yards, 2 key yards. I'd rather be 2nd and 8 than 2nd and 18. But to preview the game, we're gonna move on from that. I do want to throw some things at you. I got some team comparison for Texas A&M Auburn. Okay, total offense, Texas A&M is better. They're ranked 20th, Auburn's 77th. Rushing offense, Auburn's ranked 42nd, Texas A&M 74th. Passing offense, Texas A&M 16th, which might be, I don't know where Baylor ranks at the moment, but it might be the best passing team we've seen. Total defense, Auburn's ranked 35th, Texas A&M 66th. Rushing defense, Auburn's ranked 5th, Texas A&M 72nd. That's big to me. Passing defense, Texas A&M ranked 68th, Auburn ranked 90th. Turnover margin, Texas A&M is ranked 80th, Auburn's ranked 29th. Red zone offense, Auburn is second in red zone offense, Texas A&M is 14th. Red zone defense, Auburn's ranked in the top 50, Texas A&M is right below 100 at 97th. Auburn has more sacks, ranking at 18th, and Texas A&M 24th. Sacks allowed, this is a big one right here. Texas A&M is ranked 15th in sacks allowed. Auburn's ranked 130th. That's crazy. Time of possession, Auburn is ranked 38th, Texas A&M is 90th. Third down defense, Texas A&M 39th, Auburn 26th. Third down offense, Auburn's ranked 61st, and Texas A&M is ranked 110th. A lot of things there to me stick out as going towards Auburn. Those are all stats though. We know how we feel about the game of football. I don't always believe in the stats. I just thought I would put it out there to give myself a little bit of confidence. You see those things on paper and you're like, okay, maybe Auburn has a chance. And with this preview, I will say, Marcel Reed is a dog, but he's a sophomore, and he has sophomore slumps. He's a very inconsistent quarterback. I don't even know if he's completing 60% of his passes on the year. I don't know. I think I'm correct, but I did not fact check myself. I'll actually look that up right now. But he's had inconsistencies, so it really depends on the Marcel Reed that we get. And last year when we played Marcel Reed as a freshman, he was both. Yeah, so far in the year, he's only completed 58%. So under 60. Really the only thing that scares me about Texas A&M. This is the best wide receiver room Auburn has faced so far. They're freakishly explosive. You got these guys like Casey Concepcion. You got these guys like Mario Craver. You hit them on a slant, they're gone. Then if you don't cover the slant, you hit them on a post and they're gone. So containing them and keeping them from the big plays will be the key to success. My opinion is Auburn can win if they don't shoot themselves in the foot. You can't go to College Station and have 13 penalties, and you can't allow 10 sacks. And Jackson Arnold, your QB timer has to be quicker. You have to either get the ball out or run the ball, and that's just it is what it is. If we do those things, make sure that Texas A&M doesn't beat us deep and have these explosive pass plays, and we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, I think Auburn has a good chance of winning.
Yeah, no, they do. Um, Look, Cal Field, tough place to play. Everybody knows that. Um, like I said, attitude is everything. How do they come out looking? You talked about the press conference. I have no doubt about Jackson Arnold. I think he's legit. Not the best thrower, but I think he's a winner. I think he finds a way to win
Mm-hmm.
football games. I think that's kind of his trait. Um, my biggest concern, I guess, going into this game for Auburn is, Marcel Reed, not the most efficient quarterback, completion percentage wise, but his vertical passing, his downfield passing, undoubtedly legit, and that's part of help because those receivers you mentioned. Um, Auburn's secondary, still, no, I mean they're good, but they're not they're not a top secondary in the SEC, and they're going to be tested. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
find out just how good this Auburn secondary is. That's one way or the other. We will find out. Um, if A&M's able to get the vertical passing game going, that usually opens up the run, which we know their run game is good, both quarterback and running back. Uh, then being at home, I would lead more Texas A&M. But if Auburn comes out with the right attitude, they come composed with the right game plan. Um, I don't see why they can't win. Texas A&M's coming off a bye. Either that's going to work heavily in their favor or heavily against. Either way, I think that's going to play a factor. Either they come in kind of slouchy off a bye week, coming off a big win before that, or they come in rested, rejuvenated, ready to win a football game.
Mm.
Which is it going to be? We'll find out. That's why they play the game. I'm excited for this game. What is it? 2:30 kickoff.
I think it's 3:30 actually. I hope
3:30.
it's
Cool.
3:30
All right.
because I'll be at work at 2:30. I don't want to
Oh
watch
yeah.
the Oklahoma Auburn start
Nah, yeah.
from work.
At work. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. So obviously it's not a night game, which benefits them because it is a great weekend of football, which we're going to talk about throughout this
right, which
episode.
is why we're
Um,
talking about the preview instead of the review.
right. Yes, it is a great week of football, and this game's not really getting talked about, and it should be because it could be a really good game.
I mean, we saw
But
what
once
happened
again,
last year.
yeah, it just depends on attitude. If Auburn comes out ready to go, could be a ball game. If not, then they could be playing from behind early, and that's just tough for any team to do on the road, especially a team that probably gonna be a lot more tired than the Texas A&M team they're playing,
Right.
just coming off a bye.
Uh, so you got Texas A&M winning.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
I do.
always go
I
with my
think
boys.
Cal Field's too much.
I'm always go with my boys, but I will say before I watched Auburn play Oklahoma, I had Texas A&M winning. I feel a lot more confident
Mm.
after that terrible performance from Auburn. Believe it or not, I feel more confident in Auburn about beating Texas A&M. So with
Yeah,
that being
no,
said,
I think
oh okay, you go ahead. My
yeah,
bad.
no, I think if you're an Auburn fan, like it's a loss, but I think you definitely feel better about your team knowing that you can keep up with some teams even on the road.
I think Auburn proved they're
Yeah,
they're they're, they're the real deal this year in this game.
yeah, I think that's just the SEC. The
Right,
SEC top to bottom this year is
was
as
good.
deep as we've ever seen it.
Right,
It's insane. Vanderbilt's good. What in the
Vanderbilt's good.
world?
But with that being said, we're gonna move on to your team. We're gonna move on to the preview. Coming off a bye week, not really much to talk about from last week. Uh, I think it really just depends on what version of this Alabama offensive line are we gonna get. You know,
Yeah,
the Alabama offensive line is always super hyped up, and we've had this conversation off camera. Uh, I never really think it's as amazing as the media makes it out to be. I don't think it's as good as they always make it out to be, and this year especially. You know, once again they were supposed to have one of them great offensive lines, and then first week against Florida State they can't block for anything. They can't block to save them lives, and even against Wisconsin there were some times where you got to get the ball out. Um, so I think that is really important to the outcome of this game, considering it's at Georgia. I don't think it's a night game, Do you know
It
what
is
time it is? It is.
6:30.
It's a night game.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's tough right there. And another thing is, Giovanni Bernard cannot be your only receiver showing up to play. And I don't think
Yeah.
Kirby Smart is not the guy to let Ryan Williams go crazy 2 years in a row. I don't think Kirby Smart is gonna let that happen. If he does, I have all the props in the world to Ryan Williams. It's really hard to hate on Ryan Williams. I think he's a little cocky. I don't think he's as good as everybody says he is. I think he's overrated. But he's still a good receiver. And if he can make it happen again against Georgia when Kirby Smart knows the receiver that he is, and he's gonna try to condense you and try to keep your performance to a low, that'll speak volumes for who he is moving forward. Ty Simpson has looked good. I've never said that Ty Simpson was the problem. I don't think he'll be the problem this week if they lose. Um, and like I said, it's really up to that O line. And defensively, you just can't let Gunnar Stockton get into his zone. He gets into that zone like he did against Tennessee. That was an impressive Georgia offense, an explosive Georgia offense, one that we don't normally see from Georgia. Taking those risks, taking those shots that when Georgia's typically just a I form turnaround hand the ball off. So just don't let Gunnar Stockton get into that groove. You got to apply pressure. You got to make sure the receivers aren't just beating you deep. Keep them condensed. If you can do that, I think Alabama has a clear path to win.
Yeah. Two huge things. Our starting D tackle, Tim Keenan, he's back this week after being injured the first 3 games of the year. Same thing with Jay Miller. He is back. That should elevate both our run defense and our running game, which has struggled, no doubt about it. Don't necessarily know if it'll be the difference maker, but it helps. I think we're still going to rely on our passing game like we did with Wisconsin because Ty Simpson been incredibly accurate so far. We have a good receiving core. Jeremy Bernard, he's been a dog all year. We know Ryan Williams can make the right plays. One thing I saw in the Tennessee versus Georgia game is those Georgia defenders kind of struggled covering that deep ball. A 50-50 jump ball, Tennessee players kept finding ways to come down with it. That's what Ryan Williams is good at, is finding a way to get the ball and then run after the catch on a deep pass. That's how he beat them last year. That's what he did versus Wisconsin. So if that stays the same, Ryan Williams could be posed to have a good game. If not, I imagine it's because they are putting a lot more attention on him. But that's tough because Alabama does have really good wide receivers behind him, such as Jeremy Bernard, Isaiah Horton, Jalen Hill, who's fast, Mbakwe, who is really fast, doesn't really play much, but got a lot of speed to counter while Ryan Williams being shut down. So the Georgia DBs are going to have their work cut out for them. It comes down to this. Alabama has the talent to go in and beat them. No doubt about that. I think, Ken Boer's undefeated coming off a bye, which is strange to say, but even you go back to his days at Fresno State, dude is undefeated off a bye. I'm hoping that stays the same. The only question is it the Alabama team discipline-wise and competitiveness-wise, composure-wise that showed up versus
Right.
Georgia or Florida State? Or is it the team that showed up versus LSU last year, who was composed, disciplined,
Right.
and ready to play? If you get that attitude that we got versus LSU last year, absolutely, Alabama probably goes and wins that game. I think they're a good matchup versus Georgia. They have been ever since Kirby's been there. I wouldn't expect that to change. I like our wide receivers. I think our running game is going to be improved. I like our secondary versus shutting down what they have. Got extra run support now with Tim Keenan coming back. So I think Alabama beats Georgia. I think they come in composed. I think they're pissed off. I think they're ready to prove people wrong. They had a bye week this week, and they moved down 3 spots in the AP poll. Don't know how that's possible, but it happened. Whatever. I'm glad they did.
We both
Bulletin
don't want to talk
board
about the
material.
AP ball.
Bulletin board material. I'm
Right.
glad they did it because I hope it pisses them off. Right now, depending on where you look, they're 2.5 to 3.5 point underdogs going in this game. A lot of times, what they say is home field advantage usually gives you a 2 to 3 point bump in the betting odds or the spread department. So if you move this game to a neutral site, basically you can take that this game would basically be about even spread wise. Maybe Georgia has the edge, maybe point 0.5, 1 point. So according to Vegas, these two teams are pretty evenly matched. I would agree. The only question is Alabama had that blunder down at Florida State where they weren't competitive, they weren't disciplined, they weren't ready to play football. If they show up ready to play, is we're about to get a good game. I wholeheartedly believe
Mm.
that. I think this Alabama team is really good and can play with anybody.
I think we will get a good game. Um, my pushback on that would be, you're talking about a pissed off Alabama team. I'm thinking of a pissed off Georgia team. Kirby, in his mind, we know who Kirby was raised by. We know who Kirby is. They're coming off of a loss in Kirby's mind. They lost that game in Kirby's
Yeah.
mind, and he's upset about it. He's livid about it. And just like Alabama, Georgia also had that bye week. They also had that extra week to rest and prepare. So both of these teams will be well rested and well prepared for each other, and that's the part that, in my mind, gives Georgia the edge because they both had 2 weeks to prepare each other. So, with the way the rosters look, so evenly, talented, I think it's going to come down to coaching. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Kalen DeBoer is going to outcoach Kirby. I mean, there were some moments last year he definitely did that, and I think that's Kirby's fault. Not so much to saying is Kalen DeBoer is better. Now I do think Kalen DeBoer has things up his sleeves that nobody's prepared for. I think he's that kind of offensive mind. He's that kind of offensive coach that you're not always prepared for what he has uh, with him. That's a deep bag that he carries around with him. He's a creative mind. You make sure that all of his OCs have that same, they're on the same wavelength. Um, and I think it will come down to coaching. And it will come down to the last minute, kind of like how the Tennessee Georgia game did, where soon as Tennessee missed that field goal, they went into overtime. You kind of just knew, all right, Georgia's got it. It's it. And I'm not saying this game will go into overtime, but I think it'll come down to a close game. And I could be wrong. I could very easily be wrong because that Georgia team against Tennessee didn't look crazily impressive defensively, and Ty Simpson has been torching defenses. Let me see. I think Ty Simpson has 870 yards, 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and 72
Yes.
completion percentage. He's been balling. And if they come out in the same type of defense, they play Alabama the same way defensively, I don't think Georgia has a chance. I think it'll get out of hand quickly, just like it did last year. They might make a comeback because it's at home. They might not. But if you let them get out to a hot start, if you let Bama get out to a hot, quick start, it's going to be tough to get into that ball game. And we saw against Florida State the very first drive. It looked great. It looked like Alabama football. Very balanced, not trying to do too much. Just get the 10 yards and reset the downs until you get to the touchdown. And if they do that against Georgia, I will be really impressed. I will say that. I'll be really impressed. I might be a little bit scared for Bama. I've been talking a lot of crap ever since they lost to Florida State. So it'll definitely come back to bite me if they do look great. But like I said, both teams are well rested, well prepared. I think it's going to be a good matchup no matter what happens. Georgia night game, I think, like you said, it gives the betters, it gives the betting odds a 3-4 point bump. In my head, that gives Georgia the extra leniency to have a couple of mistakes and still find a way to win the ball game. Whereas Alabama might have to just be perfect to win this ball game. And I'm gonna say that Georgia wins. Uh, Not significantly, but enough to where you're like, okay, Georgia's the better team.
Yeah. It comes down to, can we protect Ty? Can we move the line on those 3rd and 2, third and
Mm-hmm.
three? Do we have to pass it, or can we put it on the ground? We haven't been able to put it on the ground. If we could do that somewhat consistently, that'll help us out a ton. And then on defense, getting off the field on 3rd down.
Right.
That's something they struggled with terribly last year, something they struggled with versus Florida State. If we can get off the field on third down, keep Gunner Stockton from running around, because that's what's been beating Alabama as a running quarterback. It has for years. It did under Nick Saban. It has so far under Kalen DeBoer. Very simply, can we keep him from running, not let him take the deep shots downfield, don't let them dink and dunk it behind the line of scrimmage and let their receivers go out and make plays and don't fall for the misdirection. Like, because I'm sure Mike Bobo is going to throw some misdirection in there because he knows it got Bama versus Florida State. So can we stay disciplined, stay focused, don't fall for all that, make our tackles, don't give up stupid penalties, and then if Ty Simpson protects the football, I think our offense is going to be more than enough to win this game.
Mm.
Just off that alone, I think Alabama. I'm gonna say score prediction: Alabama, 43, 44. Alabama 44, Georgia 38.
And so a shootout.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be high
Wow.
scoring.
Okay.
I don't think this is
I
gonna
don't
be a
know what
defensive
I
game.
think it's gonna be because they're both
If it's a
traditionally
defensive
defensive
game,
teams.
yeah. If this is a defensive game, I think Alabama loses.
I would agree. If Georgia keeps it, if they don't score, I think the bar for Bama to win is 31. I think you have to score above 30
Yeah,
to win the football game.
I could agree with that.
Maybe
Yeah,
28. I think you can get away with 28 without that field goal. But you'd have to have a pretty impressive performance defensively, and I don't know about that defense yet. They have a lot to show me because they looked sloppy and lazy against their only competition so far this year.
yeah. That's the question. That's the concern. If they come out firing, here we go. Put
Right.
Bama back in the top 10. If not, they're going to have every reason to put Bama unranked, and that's just not going to be a fun sight to see.
For neither one of us.
Right.
But
Yeah.
we're both just going downhill. Okay. You got anything else for Bama, Georgia?
Nah, I'm ready. I got this pit in my stomach because I know how if Alabama goes to Athens and wins,
That
could
would
you
be impressive.
imagine? Could you imagine the talk? Man, Kirby could never live it down. And then next year, I don't know if you saw the SEC opponents came out.
I saw
Georgia comes
Auburn's
back to Bama. Yeah, Georgia comes back to Bama next year. So 3 years in a row,
starting to
two
be a
at
good
Bama,
rivalry,
4 years
man.
in a row. They might as well make it a permanent game. It's gonna get the views. Why not make it a permanent game at this point?
I mean,
Either way, I'm ready for it. I'm
right.
nervous. I'm excited. I don't know what to feel about it, but my bias is gonna make me pick Alabama, of course.
Obviously. Um,
Yeah,
I'm going
but I
Georgia.
believe in them.
I'm going Georgia. I won't be surprised if Bama wins. I'm not going to sit here and say that just because they lost that I'll ever underestimate them. I always think Bama is Bama. But with that being said, we're going to go into the first matchup outside of our teams. We're going to start with, the more probable win probably has a chance. But I threw it on here because one team has looked impressive that we didn't think was going to be so impressive. And, it's their home. It might shake something up. Tennessee versus Mississippi State. Obviously, Tennessee looks better. They're ranked higher. They're ranked. Um, but
They
Mississippi
are.
State is 4-0. They've beaten an Arizona State that is not a pushover team. They're not just a nobody. I think Arizona State, is kind of like the Auburn versus Baylor win. It's against a Big 12 team that is impressive, has a shot to make the playoffs, has a shot to play for the Big 12 championship, and it's at Mississippi State. I mean, when Joey Aguilar gets out there and he hears them cowbells just ringing, and he needs a third and long, what's he gonna do? That's my big
Yeah.
question. Is not so much of Mississippi State's just better. This is one of those home field advantages that's the real deal. Like we talk about Georgia home field advantage. I don't think Georgia's home field advantage is anywhere near as crazy as a Mississippi State. Because those cowbells get to ringing, you don't know what to do. You get a little nervous, you get a little scared, gets a little bit loud, uh, and up until that Georgia game, Joey Aguilar to me looked inconsistent, and there were some inconsistencies in his game. There were some picks, and I think that's very possible to happen again. Um, I think Mississippi State's rushing offense has been pretty fair. Not the best, but it's been pretty fair. Blake Shapen has not been terrible. Everybody was predicting him to be the worst quarterback in the SEC, and I don't think he has been so far. I think it's like an Arch Manning or a DJ Lagway, surprisingly. Um, but this is a Mississippi State team that if you sleep on them and you don't take them serious, they could catch you with a surprise win.
Yeah, this Mississippi State team is much better than last year's team. Uh, they've already doubled their win totals from last year. Already doubled it.
Yeah,
We're 4 weeks into the season.
right.
So no doubt they're better. Um, the last time Tennessee won in Starkville, fun fact for you, was 2007. That was Nick Saban's first year at Alabama. Was the last time Tennessee went into Starkville and won. Little note about Tennessee does is not relevant to this week's game. I'm just saying it because, of course, they played UAB last week. Obviously, we predicted Tennessee to win. I did say UAB was going to cover, and they did. Just
Okay.
want to point that out. UAB
Hey,
covered.
hey, shout out UAB, man.
Shout out UAB. Go Blazers. Let's see. I got a little sign up there. But you know, Tennessee's I don't know what to think about this game because this could be one of those games that after it's said and done, we could be looking at and saying, "Man, we should have seen this coming. We should have seen that Mississippi State was going to find a way to pull this off somehow, some way." I just can't predict it. I don't think it'll happen. I think Tennessee's a better team. Mississippi State has had pretty good stats so far this year. They're plus 5 in the turnover differential. Tennessee's even. So Tennessee's turned the ball over more, and Mississippi State's gotten more turnovers. So if Tennessee turns the ball over and Mississippi State protects it, Mississippi State wins. Um, Tennessee, we know they have a good offense. Tennessee's only given up 2 sacks this year, which is insane to think about. Only 2 sacks so far this season. So if they keep protecting Joey, I don't see why they don't win this game. Heading into this game, Joey has 200 or more yards in each of his 28 career starts. That's the longest active streak in the FBS. He's also thrown for multiple touchdowns in 22 of his 28 starts. If that trend continues, I expect Tennessee to win. I think it's close at first, but I think Tennessee proves why they're the better team, and they kind of pull away at the end. I think Tennessee wins 38-27.
Uh, Looking at the stats, Mississippi State has a total of 5 sacks. That's the same amount of interceptions they have.
Yeah,
If
five
they come
sacks.
out and they can't get any pressure on Joey Aguilar, it will not be a game. But
Yeah,
I believe, like I said, I believe Mississippi State has one of those stadiums. You get in there and magic happens.
yeah.
You say you don't think it can be done. Like, oh, we should have seen this coming. I'll say this: there are two running backs. Uh, Fufu Bothwell, great guy. I have him on college football 26 Ultimate Team. Is all I'm saying. Pretty good. 5.8 yards per carry, and their running back two, I don't know his first name, Booth. 149 yards, 4.4 yards per carry. While Blake Shapen is throwing 67%, 884 yards, and a 7-2 touchdown interception ratio with a rushing touchdown. And they have a total of 13 rushing touchdowns. So I'm gonna go with the sneaky upset.
Like
I
it.
just I want to be different. I just have a feeling that the Tennessee's gonna get in there. Some magic's gonna happen. Mississippi State's gonna get more sacks than they predict. More sacks than they're used to. Then they got 5 interceptions in 4 weeks. That's an impressive stat alone. That means you have more than one in at least one of those games. And I think that can make Joey Aguilar throw an interception. Like I said, before the Georgia game, he was really iffy to me. Um, so we'll see how that goes. What was your score prediction?
Let's see, 38-27.
38-27 Tennessee. I think
Yes.
for Mississippi State to win, it can't go over 30. I'll go 28-24.
Yeah, you said that looking at their points allowed per game, Mississippi State's only allowed 12 points per game. It's one of the
Mm-hmm.
best in FBS right now. Tennessee's at 28 points allowed per game on average. Obviously, Tennessee's played better offenses, no doubt about that. They played the best offense in the country with UAB,
Hey,
but
to respond to that, their quarterback is eighth in the nation in pass yards per game.
dude, he's
Hey,
slinging it.
stats don't lie. Stats don't
They
lie.
never do. Never do. Anyway, like I agree with you. If this gets into a shootout, it definitely favors Tennessee more. If it's a little bit more lower scoring, I think that kind of mucks it up a bit, and that's Mississippi State's path to win. Um, man, if Mississippi State wins this, they'll be 5-0. When was the last time you saw Mississippi State 5-0? I can't confirm this, but it might be when Dak Prescott
Dak
was there.
Prescott. That would be my assumption. I can't confirm nor
So
deny, but
I want to see Mississippi State win this game.
it would be
I
interesting.
hope I hope my prediction is wrong. I hate Tennessee. All right, the whole joke, man, I hate Tennessee. I have a hat back here that says I hate Tennessee.
I don't blame
I
you.
mean it. I mean it. I don't hate Auburn. I dislike Auburn. I mean, I hate Tennessee. All right, the little
That's crazy.
saying is true.
That's crazy.
I feel that way. I feel
I
that
hate
way.
Bama. Like I can't help
I
that.
feel that way. But I just want to let you know something. I took the liberty of going through and watching our videos, watching the video you put out, the video we put out, and I kept track of every prediction we made last week.
That's something I wanted to do. That's something I want to do. I want us to keep a
So
record
I got
of what
you.
we're doing.
I got you. It's right here. All right, so we grand total picked 16 games.
Oh, man, and there were
How many out
some
of 16?
misses. There were some misses.
Dude, we missed on a couple of these. How many out of 16 do you think you got?
How many do I think I got?
Yeah,
I'll say 9. I think I got 9.
you got 9. Yeah, 9 out
Okay.
of 16.
Okay, which
How
is
many you
not
think I
good.
got?
Which is not good.
How many do you think I got? Now take into account that obviously you went with Auburn and I went in with Oklahoma. And then we pretty much went even on almost everything
Yeah, I'm
else.
trying to think of what you deferred from me, so I'm just gonna guess 10.
11.
Oh man,
You went USC. You went USC. Or no, I went USC,
Yeah,
and you went
I
Michigan
went
State.
Michigan State.
We mentioned that in your episode you did on Friday. So I'm 11 of 16. You're 9 of 16. I have all my picks laid out. Obviously, we both missed on the Nebraska-Michigan game.
Right.
We both missed on the Utah-Texas Tech game.
Disappointing.
We both missed on the Arkansas game.
Man.
We both missed on the SMU TCU game. We
who
both
did we
missed
go
on the
for?
Baylor.
I can't
We
remember.
both picked SMU and TCU won.
Mhm.
And then we both picked Baylor and Arizona State
Man,
won.
that
So,
hurt my feelings.
Not a great week for us, but all things considered,
It'll be alright.
could be a lot worse.
Yeah,
So
it'll be
I'm
alright.
keeping up with it. I'm keeping up with it. Right now I have a narrow lead that can be flipped that could be
Any
flipped this
lead
weekend
is
very
too big
easily.
for me. I don't like that you have a lead at all.
Well, we've predicted 3 games so far, and we differ on weekend regardless.
Oh man, it's
We'll
gonna
see.
be gonna be a crazy one after this week. The next one, which I don't think will be as good of a game as it looks to be. Ole Miss LSU. I'm pretty sure this is at Ole Miss, and I'm gonna just say this: I think LSU is the most overrated team in college football. At first, the Clemson win looked good. At first, it looked good. And now you look at Clemson, who struggled to beat Troy, and now they're 1-3. Then, they beat a Florida team by 10 points when their quarterback threw 5 interceptions. A not good team. A not good Florida team. So and then you see what's his name? Brian Kelly getting on there just whining about everything. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for LSU. They're winning, but why? Why are they winning? They're winning because the other team is just not that good. I'll say their defense has been fairly impressive, but their run game, when they have a really good running back, in my opinion, uh, has just not looked good. Garrett Nussmeier has looked underwhelming after being so proclaimed to be the best quarterback in the SEC.
Yeah.
Uh, I just don't see anything about LSU that pops to me, uh, and that's watching the games and looking at the stats. You know, and I don't think Ole Miss is great, but Ole Miss has the best offense that LSU has faced so far this year. And I think it's at Ole Miss, and I think it'll
It
just
is.
come down to LSU is shooting their own selves in the foot offensively. They can't get in their own rhythm. It's not that the defense that they're facing is just so grand. Well, I will say the Florida defense is really good. The Florida defense is really impressive so far. But outside of that, they haven't played a good defensive team and they're not putting up many points. And I think they're just shooting themselves in the foot with miscues, miscommunication, penalties. It's just failure of execution. And I think that all lands on Brian Kelly. Um, and I think they go into Ole Miss. I think it's at 2:30, and they're just not prepared. I just don't think they're prepared in any way, shape, or form. And I don't think they'll put up a lot of points, not because Ole Miss defense is good, just because they can't get into their rhythm. And Ole Miss is going to come to play. Lane Kiffin is angry about how the schedule is, turned out for him, about how they have to play an afternoon game, but when they go to play LSU, it's going to be a night game in
It's going to
Louisiana.
be at night.
So he's
I saw
already
that.
angry. He already has fuel in his fire. He wants to prove a point. And I just don't think LSU's going to be ready for it.
Yeah, so you're going Ole Miss?
I'm 100% going Ole Miss.
I agree. I think LSU's offense is a concern. Garrett Nussmeier has been underwhelming. We heard going into the season that he kind of hurt himself a little bit. I know Greg McElroy came out and said if it's what he thinks it is, that it will affect him all season. And that injury keeps re-aggravating itself. So I think that plays an effect. How healthy is Garrett Nussmeier gonna be? Yeah, I hate to see a guy get hurt, but that's the nature of the game. Got to deal with what you got. LSU defense has looked really good. Blake Baker is their defensive coordinator. I think he's done a fantastic job there so far. But we know how Lane Kiffin's offenses are. We know they're going to be ready to play. This is by far probably going to be their toughest offense opponent all year, if I had to guess. Do we know who their starting quarterback is? Is it going to be Simmons or
Uh,
Chambliss?
it has not been announced to my knowledge, but I'll say this, and I heard this somewhere else. If if they start Austin Simmons, it's simply just because they're paying Austin Simmons, not because he won the
Yeah,
spot. And I don't think Lane Kiffin's going to do that. I think he's going to give it to Trinidad. I think Trinidad's shown that he deserves it. He's back-to-back games, 0 picks, and Austin has a pick in every game he's played so far. He's had two in every
yes,
game that he played.
multiple. Yeah.
So I think it should be Trinidad. If it's not, then my prediction might be flawed. You get in there, you throw some interceptions to that LSU defense, which is very capable of forcing a turnover. They do have a good defensive team. Um, I think you could be in trouble, but I don't think Lane Kiffin will do that. I think Trinidad has shown that he deserves to be the starter.
Yeah, I think it's always tough to win in the SEC, even though it's not at night. You know, we both saw the same clip of Lane Kiffin, and he has a great point. He don't
Right.
ever get the big night
I'd,
games,
I'd
but
be
when they go
mad.
somewhere, they get the. It's going to be a night game. Um, you know, we were going to talk about some Heisman odds. Decided against it due to some recent events, but I did already have some Heisman stats prepared or Heisman odds prepared. Um, Chambliss has far
Yeah.
surpassed Austin Simmons in the betting odds. Now he's way off the radar, but according to the betting market, Chambliss is probably that guy moving forward, and I think he should be. I think Ole Miss's offense is just too much. I think they score a lot of points. Um, I think LSU's defense is really good, so I think they hold them. I think Ole Miss only scores 38 points,
Mm.
but that LSU offense is very concerning. So my score prediction, 38-20. I don't think it's particularly close.
You think they go 23 straight games?
They've only showed me 20,
Hey,
so why
I'm
not?
not mad at it. I think it's funny that you said, I think their defense is pretty solid. They're gonna hold them to 38. That's
38.
funny, and
Hey,
I think you're right.
Ole Miss averages like 56 points a
Yeah,
game. So, in all things considered, 38's not bad for a Lane Kiffin team.
I think I was about to say like I don't agree, and then I was just gonna go 34. Like that's such a big difference.
Yeah.
I'll say 34-24. I don't think they go what. Yeah, I'll say 34-24. I just number one, I don't see them going. If they go 20 again, dude, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. Coach is going in there. Guys, just get 20. We gonna win the game. That's all he's concerned about. If they go 20 again, I'd be like scared. I think 34-24. Ole Miss. I think Trinidad shows out again. I think he has a turnover this game because that LSU defense is really good. But I just don't think that LSU offense is ready to get it clicking. I don't know what it's going to take.
Yeah, I think, I don't think it's going to be that close. Did you see that Lane Kiffin's daughter is dating the linebacker at LSU?
There's more fuel to the fire.
He said, take the over.
Oh, yeah, he said, take the over. Man.
It doesn't have anything to do with the game, I don't think. But that's just funny that happens.
Oh, I think it does have a little bit to do with the game. I think
Lane Kiffin it does.
To
Lane Kiffin it definitely does. Point is, if this game gets nasty and it turns out LSU's defense is a little overinflated by playing bad offenses such as Clemson and Florida, and Ole Miss can kind of run away with it, they probably will.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's either 38 or they're about to drop 56 on their heads.
They drop 50, I'll be really impressed.
I would love to see it because I don't like LSU.
I don't think neither one of us like LSU. By the way, back to the schedule you talked about. LSU is finally back on Auburn's schedule next year, and I'm so excited.
Yes.
They're coming to Jordan-Hare. I'm excited. I've missed that game. LSU, we've gotten robbed. Alabama stole our LSU rivalry. I don't care what nobody says. That was our rivalry. Man, the way you say you hate Tennessee, I hate LSU, man. I can't stand LSU. And anytime we play LSU, there's no team I want to beat more than LSU. I love just killing LSU.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's a shame talking about the future schedule. It's a shame Alabama and LSU aren't going to play every year. That's been a really good game for the past
crazy too.
2 decades. Although I'm glad we're playing Mississippi State again because a lot of people forget that Alabama and Mississippi State had one of the longest active streaks of playing each other every year up until a couple years ago when they didn't play because we went away with divisions and whatnot. So I'm glad we're playing Mississippi State because that's only reason people don't recognize that as a rivalry is because Mississippi State hasn't been as good. If Mississippi State was good, everybody would know the Mississippi State Alabama game when it is, but they're just not as good. So I'm glad we're getting to play them. But man, am I gonna miss that stupid purple and gold and Death Valley versus the Crimson helmets and the Crimson jerseys because that's what they always wear. Because LSU always wear white, and it was a beautiful game. Had so many great moments. R.I.P. to the Nick Saban Bowl.
Shout out to the zig route from that one wide receiver that 1 year of Brian Kelly's first year at LSU beating Alabama. Shout out that guy. But with that being said,
hey, it's kind of a similar route Mechie ran whenever he won it 4 overtimes, just on the other side of the end zone.
Yeah, you're right. Very similar route, almost the exact same route.
Almost just on the other side.
That Hunter Renfrow ran against them, in that championship. All right. You get
the championship game? When did Auburn go to the championship game?
See, there we go. Truth.
Truth.
And And the last game that we're going to be previewing is Oregon Penn State. I think this is game of the week. I haven't watched a lot of Oregon. I've kept up with Penn State a little bit, but you know we're SEC heads.
Yeah.
But I think it'll still be a fun game. A lot of talk about Big Ten on top, SEC on top. I'm always going to say SEC, but I do like to give credit to the Big Ten. They do have the competitive teams that are there. I like to watch them when they play. I like to watch Penn State. I like to watch Ohio State from time to time. Not the biggest Oregon fan, but you know. And I don't know who you got going, but I know without a doubt I've watched Oregon time and time and time and time and time and time again. Get to the big game, they look so good all season. Get to the big game, and they don't have it. I think they went 2-0 versus Penn State last year. I don't care. I don't care. They don't have Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel is a crazy playmaker. And I think this Penn State team is legit. I think they have a real shot this year. And I think they're going to prove why come this Saturday. Out of all the Big Ten teams, I think defensively it's Ohio State and Penn State. I don't think there's another team defensively in the Big Ten that can even hang with those two teams. Definitely not Oregon. I'm not so big on Drew Allar, but I think he has what it takes to win the game. They got a double running back tandem over there. And so they're going to run the ball. They're going to smash mouth. Oregon's not ready for that. They never are. And I don't know enough about Dante Moore to say, oh, he's just going to sling it all over that Penn State defense. I don't think that's going to happen whatsoever. He's looked good, but who has Oregon played up until this point? I'll tell you, actually. Here.
Montana State, Oklahoma State, Northwestern, and Oregon State. Oh, wait, yeah.
So
I said Oregon State twice.
So
yeah.
It was OK State instead of Oregon State.
Yes, you're right.
So what defense, what team has he played? Nobody. That's the answer. And I don't know if he's a true sophomore, right?
Dante?
Yeah.
Maybe a junior? I don't know. Maybe a true junior sophomore redshirt.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think he's gonna make mistakes this game. He hasn't seen a defense like this yet. And I think Penn State's gonna capitalize, and they're gonna take those turnovers, and they're gonna win the football game. Do we know where this game is? I actually don't. So while I'm talking,
it is at Penn State, 6:30 kickoff, whiteout,
Oh,
same time as the Alabama Georgia game.
Wrap it up, Oregon. Go ahead, go home.
They're running at the same time, which pisses me off because I gotta watch Alabama.
Right.
Like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, but oh well. I'll catch the highlights of this game.
I'm gonna be watching both. Yeah, whiteout game. Penn State usually wins those. Just don't think Oregon really. I'm not gonna say they don't stand a chance, but like I said, this is the best defense they're gonna face. It's a whiteout at 6:30 at night at Penn State. Penn State is one of those electric college football stadiums. Once you get in there in those night game environments, it's really extremely hard to win. And I think Dante Moore makes a mistake. Maybe two mistakes, and I think that's all Penn State needs to win the football game.
Yeah, so neither teams have played anybody. Penn State's played Nevada, FIU, and Villanova.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody as well. This is going to be this game. We're going to find out about both these teams, whether they're ready or not. We're gonna find out. I'm excited for this game. I hate that it's at the same time as Alabama game. A few stats. Neither teams have played anybody, so what does it really matter? My biggest concern with Penn State is heading into this game. They have a 39% third down completion percentage or whatever. against nobody.
Yeah.
That's not good to have versus three terrible teams. But other than that, stats wise, yards wise, both teams are incredibly even. Um, Penn State does lead the all-time series 3-2, being the more historical program and all that. Last time they played, they played last year in the Big Ten championship game. Oregon won 45 to 37. One thing to watch out for: this is a revamped Penn State passing offense. Uh, Oregon does have two uh, DBs. One's a redshirt freshman, and the other's a true freshman. They get a lot of playing time for them. Can they hold their own? You mentioned they have a running back tandem, two running backs. They're both really good. Both of them could have gone to the NFL last year. Both of them are going to go to the NFL
Hmm.
after this offseason. Best running back group in the nation, I think, but 1-2 punch at least. We know Penn State's going to be able to run the ball. We know their defense is going to be. It's a Big Ten defense. It's going to be a good defense. Uh, Me and my dad, we do uh, over under predictions for like every team in the FBS, and then we pick our conference championships and our national championship. Heading into the season, I picked Penn State to win the national championship.
Wow. Hey, that's
But
impressive. I don't
but
expect that. Oh, but
Oregon wins this Saturday.
Oregon. So you say all of that, knowing that it's at Penn State, knowing it's the whiteout game, to say Oregon wins.
There's something that pulled at my heart that told me this is the best Oregon team that Dan Lanning's had since he's been there. Not the best quarterback he's had, but around him, I think this is the biggest, most physical team he's had. So it looks more like a Big Ten team than a Pac-12 team than it has in years past. I think Dante Moore is a capable quarterback. The quarterback comparison's kind of irrelevant because let's be honest, both of
Right.
these quarterbacks aren't world beaters. They're both solid, not fantastic though. I think James Franklin has struggled winning the big games. I
Hmm.
don't think that's the reason why they lose. I just think everybody always says that when they talk about James Franklin, so I
Right.
might as well say it too.
Right.
Um, I think Oregon comes in focused. I think, um, I have in my notes, or I think Oregon is a better team, but playing at night in the whiteout is tough.
It's tough.
I think Oregon is the better team. I think they have better coaching. Ultimately, I think they're going to get it done. I have my score prediction written down as Oregon 34, Penn State 27. And if I'm wrong, then I look stupid for picking them to win in a whiteout. But if I'm right, then Penn State has some issues.
Yeah, I'd agree. I don't think it gets. It's so tough because I know Oregon. I know the kind of offense they carry. I don't have an exact score. I want to say it's lower scoring. Um,
I went back and forth on the scoring. The over/under is only 52, so that could be a 27 to 25 ball game, and you hit the under.
uh,
So,
you went wild with your prediction. I'm gonna go a little crazy. I'm gonna just give you a crazy prediction.
I,
The final score is 28-27. Oregon got greedy. They wanted to win the game in regulation. Tried to go for two, didn't get it. That's my prediction. There you go, right there.
hold up. Let me write that down real fast. You said 28-27,
Final
Penn
score
State
twenty-eight
wins.
twenty-seven. Penn State wins. Oregon gets greedy in regulation. Wants to go for two instead of take it to overtime. And that is their downfall. They do not complete the
Yeah,
drive.
I mean, I went back and forth on this game. Actually, on my sheet where I did my predictions, I actually predicted Penn State to win.
Mm-hmm.
But this morning, when I was filling out my little one sheet for this game, I flipped it. As I was looking at it, I was like, I'm gonna have to go Oregon. I just feel it in my bones.
Hey, if you got that
All
feeling,
right, cool bits.
I can't blame. That's
We
how I
got a
feel about
lot of
Mississippi State.
we got a lot of disagreements this week. I love it.
Yeah, I do too. I like when we. I don't like all that agreeing. You're an Alabama fan. Why are
Yeah,
we
yeah.
agreeing?
Did too much agreeing last week. I
Right.
wish I disagreed with you more. Then I'd
Let's.
be killing you.
Nah. I like. Let's go through. I want to go through some. through some of these top 25 matchups. TCU versus Arizona State. I'm pretty sure it's at Arizona State.
Let's see.
TCU has a really impressive offense. And Arizona State did lose to a Mississippi State. But I want to go against TCU so bad. I'm gonna take TCU. Let me just shut up. Let me try to not be too different. I'm taking TCU here.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna go TCU. They keep winning. Josh Hoover's their quarterback. He's like 15th in Heisman odds right now. Yeah, dog. Yeah, you're right. It's at Arizona State. It's 8 o'clock kickoff here, Central Time, where we are at here in the 205. Local time. That's what is it like 5 or 6? So it's a night game. Arizona State is favored 2.5. But I think I think TCU's really good, and
I think they are too.
Quietly they are in this playoff mix because the Big 12 is going to get a spot.
Big 12 is open right
Yeah.
now. There's nobody that's
like you
taking
said,
away.
it's open. Arizona State could get it. Baylor could get it. Iowa State could get it. Texas Tech could get it. Utah still could get it. I don't think they disappointed me. They disappointed you. They disappointed the whole country who was wanting the Mormons to win, but they did it. But like you said, wide open. I think TCU is in strong contention for that. I think they win this game. I hope they do. Go Horned Frogs. Georgia took their soul. So I'm glad to see them bouncing back.
I like when TCU is a good team. I can't tell you why. I don't know why I like when the TCU Horned Frogs are a good team, but I do. I like to cheer for them from the Big 12 every once in a while. I don't ever want to see them beat a Georgia though. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, right.
I'm only saying this game because it's a top 25 matchup, USC versus Illinois. I don't think it's close. I don't even think it's close. I think USC blows them out, and Illinois is unranked like they should be right now, and
Finally.
Auburn should be 25th. Auburn should be 25th.
Yeah.
It's insane to me.
I agree. Let's see. I had the AP poll. Where's it at? Oh, I don't know where it's at. I had it in here somewhere. Either way, they're ranked. What is it? 23rd. They're ranked 23rd, which is
absurd.
Ridiculous.
Absurd. They got embarrassed.
Yeah. You can't lose by 53 points and still be ranked. There's no way. That should
ridiculous.
never, ever happen.
That is ridiculous.
You know what though? They don't give us an AP ballot. I wish they would. They should. I told you I filled out my own rankings this week. I think my rankings are 100 times better. I'll tell you this. I have Auburn ranked because they should be ranked.
They should be.
It is a very unbiased list. You would be impressed to know that I do have Alabama lower than the AP poll has them.
What do they have them at the AP poll? 22?
17th.
17th?
I have them 18.
22. You have them 18?
Yeah, I have them 18. Yeah. So I think that should just be referenced that this is an unbiased. I
say we start doing that. I say every week we come in with our own poll.
Yeah. I'm not a journalist like a lot of these AP writers are that vote on this, but it sure seems like I know more football than they do.
Well, I mean, you saw the clip of that one lady just saying, "Oh, Florida, they lost to USF. It doesn't matter. Keep them where they are."
Yeah,
if she can say that, I can say whatever I want. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think we should do that. Start doing our rankings every week. I had a lot of fun making it. Mm-hmm. It took me I pondered upon it for a couple of days before arriving at the decision that I did. So we should definitely start doing that. I aptly named my poll the Not So Associated Press poll because I hate the AP poll because it is awful.
It's terrible.
Awful. But I had a lot of fun. You should do that. It was fun. I can send you my my top 25 and you can critique it later.
I'll definitely do that.
I know you'll enjoy it.
Next game is Notre Dame versus Arkansas. And wow, what a terrible. After we just got done talking about how Arkansas showed promise, we got done talking about how they impressed us. They want to come in and they want to throw it to Memphis. Oh my
Right.
God, that was bad, bro. And they were about to score. They were about to win the ball game, and they fumble.
Again, again.
And that's twice that they've lost like that. Like I I don't know. Like is that defense? That defense is terrible. Um, it's in Arkansas.
It is.
I don't know, because Arkansas has a good defense. Whoa, a good offense. They have a good offense, a really impressive offense, and I think they can score with Notre Dame. I'm not saying it's on Texas A&M level, but if they come in hot, they could very well put up the same amount of points. And I think as of right now, Taylor Green is more consistent than Marcel Reed. I think he's a better quarterback so far in the year, a better playmaker. And if he gets going against this Notre Dame defense, like Marcel Reed kind of just made things happen and he got it to his playmakers and they made plays, I say the same thing for Arkansas. Um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the SEC team just strictly out of hate for Notre Dame.
Let's go.
Um,
Let's go.
I'm gonna vote for Arkansas to have a bounce back. Sam Pittman's on the hot seat right now, and he needs to show something. It's in their home stadium. It's at 11 a.m. They have to
Yeah.
show life, and I think Taylor Green in that offense brings it. I think Notre Dame makes some mistakes. It all depends on if they can stop that run.
Yeah. Um, I hope you are right. I want to see Arkansas win this game. Um, I hate to see this happen to Sam Pittman this way. He's got to get it together or else he is gone. Like you said, 11 a.m. kickoff. I think that benefits Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Notre Dame never. I mean, to go on the road and then wake up at 11 a.m. and get ready to play a football game, that's tough for anybody, especially a Notre Dame team that struggled as much as they have. That Memphis game was a disappointment, but I don't think Memphis shouldn't have been that close. They had the lead and then they just blew it. They had like a what, like
Right.
an 18-point lead and
Going in
blew it.
half.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been as close as it was, but it was. I think Arkansas is really good. Right now they're in a 6.5 point dog at home. This could be one of those games like last year. Tennessee came to Fayetteville and Arkansas won. Could be another one of those games that we can say, man, we should have seen that coming.
Right.
But and you're seeing it coming. You're predicting it. I'm gonna disagree. I think Notre Dame does get the win, barely though. I think it's a close game. I think it's 35-31 in favor of Notre Dame. Fun fact about this game: these two teams have never played before, ever. So first time. I hope Arkansas gets it done. Not predicting it, so we're disagreeing again. Um, yeah, I would love to see the SEC team come out on top.
I kind of just take it. I've taken a lot of just I'm just feeling it. I'm not putting any
I
emotion into it, any thought into it. I'm just going with what I feel like is. Because I've taken some
love it.
upsets this week. Hopefully, some of the if I miss on all of them, you're finna be so far ahead of me in this competition. I'll let you know that now.
Yeah, my
Um,
biggest concern is Notre Dame, who is historically a very good defense and has been the past couple years, was last year, uh, is giving up like 32 points a game this year.
mhm.
And we are Taylor Green fans.
Right.
Uh,
He's
so
good, dude. He's a
I
baller.
think the route for Arkansas to win this game is if they score 40,
If
they
they,
win.
that's what I was thinking. I think if they get to that 40-point range, I think Notre Dame can't keep up.
Yeah, yeah. I love CJ Carr. Their offense is improved this year compared to previous years. It is more ramped up, partially because it has to be.
Right.
Notre Dame averages 44 points a game, which is high for Notre Dame standards. Arkansas averages 43 and a half. I think Arkansas has played better defenses, though, outside of Memphis, but don't sleep on Memphis. Um, I think that 40 mark, like you said, incredibly important. Arkansas hits it. I think they win. If they don't, If they score 31 like I predicted them, then I think Notre Dame gets the job done.
I can see them getting 38 and winning the game.
Yeah,
Um,
like right at the 40 mark, just in that general area.
I just have a feeling that Notre Dame's gonna come in and just wet the bed. Like their offense just does not click this game. I don't know. I don't know why I feel like that. I think they score 25 points. I'm gonna go 38-25. Arkansas winning by 13 points. Why? Because it just occurred to me. Just like how you said you woke up this morning, Oregon just something told you.
Yeah.
Something just told me 38-25 going Arkansas.
Hmm.
One last game. Uh, I'm not really expecting much from this game. I'm just putting the name in there. BYU versus Colorado. Deion Sanders has to show something at some point that he can be
Got to.
successful without Travis Hunter and Shadur Sanders. He has to prove it at some point. I like Deion Sanders. I think he's a good head coach, but he's got to get it together. He's got to get these coordinators, man. I think that's his biggest problem. He tries to do too much, and he doesn't go out and get the best assistants for
Yeah.
himself. And his offensive line has been horrid ever since he got there. And you think with a defensive player with as good as he was, and it's potentially one of the greatest of all time in the NFL, you'd think he'd have some sort of a defense. He doesn't. He doesn't. He needs to get it together. I don't know what's going on with
Yeah.
Deion Sanders. I want to root for Deion, but he makes it hard on himself. I'm going BYU, but I wanted to put it in there just for the name of Deion Sanders. Get a few clicks in here.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I think I don't know why Colorado isn't unloading their budget on better assistants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if they really are serious about winning, that's what you have to do. One of the
Right.
reasons why a lot of these teams, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, this past year, have been so good. Look at their assistants. They have some of the best assistant coaches in the nation. Yeah, they have really good, the greatest of all time head coach. But did you see it was like this graphic that came out of Alabama's like 2015 or 2017 coaching staff or something like that, and it had
And just
like
got all these guys with head
Kirby
coaching
Smart,
jobs.
Lincoln, Steve Sarkisian, just dudes. That's what it takes to win football games at a high
Mm-hmm.
level, at the level they should want to win at. So I do agree with that. I think they need to invest more into their coaching staff. I know nothing about BYU. I think they have a true freshman starting at quarterback, but he's a four-star. I think he's good, especially
He's
for
been
true
pretty
freshmen
solid
over there
so
in the Big
far.
12. Yeah. Um, the AP poll has them ranked 25. I'll be honest, in my poll, I got to the 25th team. I didn't know who to put there, so I copied the AP poll and I put BYU. I don't know nothing about them, but they're there because they win, or they have been winning, and I think that trend continues. Um, the quarterback problem at Colorado, man, I don't know. They can't seem to figure it out. They felt like they got an answer. Turns out it wasn't really the answer. They've played like a dozen different guys, it feels like. Um, so
Well, in my
that's the
opinion,
question.
I think they need to stick with Caden Salter, and they just need to get a game
I
plan
agree.
around him.
Yeah.
I think Caden
Yeah.
Salter is your
Is
guy.
it?
You just can't protect him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And they don't necessarily have the weapons they had last year.
No.
Is Salter, is he a freshman?
No, Salter's a transfer from Liberty. I think he's a
Oh,
senior.
that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Salter at
Yeah.
Liberty balled. I like Salter. There was talks that he would come to Auburn,
Yeah.
and I was
I'm
kind of
thinking
on
about
that
Lewis.
Salter train. Yeah, you're thinking about Julian Lewis.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was on the Salter train. I think he's a really impressive quarterback. He's athletic. He can throw the ball. He just Colorado's not helping him. And I think
No.
BYU's offense has been competent, and that's all you need to beat Colorado at the moment. Um, and so I'm taking BYU.
Yes.
But I would
I
not be
agree.
surprised if Colorado just has a game where they put it together and they look great and they win the game. It is in Colorado, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, this would be one that Colorado could win and really say like, hey, no, like we're a good team. We can compete for the Big 12. Um, first year Dion's there. What do they win? 3 games. The next year they go and win 8 or 9 last year.
9.
Um, so I think they fall somewhere in between that low and that high. But this would be a game if they're going to go win 8 or 9 games this year. This is going to be a game that
They
they're going
got
to
to.
have to at least compete in.
Right.
But they really need to win.
I see them maybe 7, but more likely a 6-6 season for Colorado, just the way they've
Yeah,
looked so far, and the amount of
yeah.
confusion and sloppiness. That's all I have for predictions. You have anything that you wanted to throw in there?
Let's see. So I mean, South Carolina's been struggling. They have Kentucky coming to town. I think South Carolina wins, but do you feel any differently?
Kentucky.
No. Yeah.
Kentucky's the worst
Kentucky's
team in
worst
the
team in the
SEC.
SEC.
I
Yeah.
just I don't see. It's hard for me to say that they're going to compete with any SEC team, strictly for that reason. They're the Mississippi State of last year. Um,
And then just for housekeeping, because I do have these in predictions. I'm guessing you're going Vandy over Utah State,
yeah,
and then Missouri over Massachusetts.
yeah. I'm going to take
Bet.
all
All
the
right, bet.
SEC homers.
So that's our picks.
That's all
We'll
the
see how
SEC
they play
teams.
out. That's all that we've predicted every SEC game.
Somebody's going to be in the lead next week. I know that.
It's either I I hope we don't split because then it could just be exactly how it was this week.
That would be insane
But
if we split.
imagine either one of us is going to have a huge lead or it's going to be right back to where it is now, which is pretty even.
I took a lot of Hail Mary shots on some of these underdog teams.
Yeah, I'll
So
take a couple.
we'll see. All right. Now we got all the football stuff out of the way. You said earlier we were going to talk Heisman favorites. Some unfortunate, very unfortunate news took place this week. Auburn basketball head coach Bruce Pearl is retiring. He's retiring. And so I said to Garrett, we have to talk about that. There's no way we're not talking about that. I would expect that that's the same thing if Nate Oates were to just step down. Like everything goes out the window. A coach like that has to be talked about. And before I say anything, congratulations, Bruce Pearl. Thank you for rejuvenate. You know the word. You know the word.
Yeah.
Bringing Auburn to life in the basketball world. Auburn was a terrible team. I think I saw it somewhere. I think Auburn was 131 and 151 9 years, the last 9 years before Bruce Pearl. And then after Bruce Pearl, they were 231 and 85 for the 9 years of the last 9 years of Bruce Pearl. So you don't count those middle 2 years where he just got there, but you count the last 9 years and you count the last 9 years before, and that's just to prove he really turned it around. It was a job, obviously nobody wanted, because he came off. Everybody knows what happened with him in Tennessee. We're not here to talk about that. But nobody wanted it. He wanted to stay in the SEC. He got his opportunity, and he really, changed himself. Which what he did was so terrible. But so he really turned himself around. He turned the program around. He became, and this is why I love Bruce Pearl so much. He became the definition, the epitome of what us Auburn fans call an Auburn man. He's not just a head coach at Auburn. He was an Auburn man. And, anytime you lose a guy like that, like when we lost Cadillac Williams, I was hurt. That's an Auburn man through and through. And when you see these guys, they want nothing but the best for Auburn. So I'm glad he did what he did. I'm glad he turned Auburn into pains me to say, a basketball school. But he did do that. 2 Final Fours in 6 years? 5 SEC championships, 6 tournament appearances. Just a really impressive resume to be the head coach of Auburn basketball. When you look at the comparison, it was before he got here. It's a top 10 program. That job opening is available. that's a top 10 program that people want to get into. Coaches
Yeah,
want
right now
that
for
job.
sure.
Coaches want that job now because he made it desirable. I
Mhm.
think I don't know exactly where in the rankings we were recruiting. I think it was 14th in recruiting class of basketball last year. Um, he's a really great talent evaluator. Really great at doing what he can do with the pieces he has on the team, and so he'll be missed. And obviously, his son is taking the spot when, like I said, it's a top 10. It's a top 10 job that a lot of coaches want, and Auburn gave it to Steven. Um, I think it was kind of forced by hand by Bruce. I'm not gonna get into that. But personally, you ask me how I feel about that. I love it. My thing is like when Saban retired, now they have Kellen DeBoer, who's a polar opposite of Nick Saban. Sure, Bama can compete, but they're not the same Bama. It's a different Bama team. And so with Bruce giving it to Steven, I think it'll be a lot of the same things, and that's what I don't want to see another style of Auburn basketball. That's something I've essentially grown up watching is that style of Auburn basketball, and I don't want to see it any other way. I like that grit. I like the grind. I don't like. We don't need all the 5 stars. We don't need the best. The ESPNU #1 ranked basketball player coming out of high school. We don't need that. You know, we evaluate D2 talent, we evaluate JUCO talent, we evaluate these 3 stars that can really ball out, they can get in there, play gritty, play grindy, and I like that style of basketball for Auburn. So I think Steven will work out. You look at him, he's 38 years old. He's Bruce Pearl's son. What more do I need to say? He didn't get here because of nepotism. He's been on this Auburn staff since 2014, and we're not anywhere close to what we are without his defensive mind. Stephen Pearl is great at orchestrating the defense basketball wise, and I think he'll be good, he'll be successful, and I'm excited to see what he can do. Maybe surpass his father one day. Uh, that's my thing. If Steven is good, if Steven can become a great head coach, he is an Auburn man as well. He's not going anywhere. He's not leaving. We'll essentially have him on a lifetime deal.
Yeah, look, it's I'm an Alabama fan, so this benefits me because Bruce Pearl is a really good basketball coach, and now our biggest rival does not have that anymore. But I think I said something yesterday that my opinion on this or my initial thoughts might kind of be an Alabama. I was not necessarily happy to hear this news because him and Nate Oates had the hottest rivalry in basketball going. And I'm not saying that's going to go away, but we don't know. Like, we can't guarantee either
Right.
way. Bruce Pearl undoubtedly had a huge impact on bringing SEC basketball where it's at now, the
Mm-hmm.
best conference for basketball at the current moment. He very quietly, the state of Alabama over the past 3 years has been pound for pound the best state for college basketball. Alabama, Auburn, Sanford's been really good. UAB's been really good. Alabama State made the tournament this past year.
And competed.
Bruce Pearl was really the first one to bring something to this state, and now everybody's. I mean, Alabama's a basketball state. Crazy to say that,
Right.
but we're a basketball state. We love our basketball down here, and our teams are good. Um, him and Nate Oates had a great little rivalry going. I think there's a lot of respect between the two coaches. No doubt about that. They've split a lot of series. They've had great games. Um, so I'm gonna be sad to see that go away. Um, I hope it goes away as Auburn versus Alabama as a whole, because that means Steve Pearl's not. Obviously, me being an Alabama fan, I hope he is not. One thing I will say about Bruce Pearl is he is as Auburn as it gets.
Right.
He is an Auburn guy. I agree with that. Y'all have this thing. It's like the AU family, right? That's a big
Hmm.
marketing thing that Auburn does. Man, he bleeds that, and I think him passing the torch to his son is all the more indicative of that. Of course, what's our podcast called again?
War Tide Podcast. How do you don't know? How you
Right, right,
don't
right, right.
know? Come
No, no,
on,
no,
man.
no. I know it. I just wanted you to say it. I just wanted you to say
Okay,
it.
War
So I
Tide
just want to
Podcast.
make this clear. I respect Bruce Pearl. I think he's a really good coach, but I would be remiss if I did not highlight that the man is 11 and 12, 11 out of 12 versus Bama and 5 versus 7 against Nate Oates. Just gonna leave that there. Now, my next question, and I'd be interested to see your thoughts on this. Why now? Why do it right now
Uh,
in September,
I
late September?
think it was kind of like I said. I think it was just to kind of put Auburn to a position where they can't hire anybody but Stephen Burrow.
Yeah,
Because if you do it right after the Final Four, there are coaches knocking at the door begging for that job. You know,
yeah,
and that's not to be, oh, Auburn's the best, but you'd be delusional to say that Auburn isn't an attractive job to these head coaches. I mean, you look at what they've done, and they're not blue blood, they're not a blue blood school, but the tier right under that, that's where Auburn is right now. You know, and they're two plays from a championship appearance in 2019, and there are a few more plays from a championship appearance this last year. And that means that you have a really good program to be in that position multiple times in 6 to 7 years. Um, so I really think it was more so um, to hand Steven the job and Auburn not have any battle fight against that. Um,
yeah,
Whether that's good or bad, that will be seen. Um, and this hasn't been talked about anywhere. But I do have a theory that Bruce kind of always knew, which he was very open about. His time is coming near, but I think kind of Bruce knew within the next 2 years he was done, and he was behind the scenes essentially training Steven as the head coach.
yeah.
I do think that was happening. Um, so I think Steven has been prepared properly by his dad to step in and take this job. I think there might have been games last year where Steven ran, the game planning schemes. He might Bruce might have said, you know what, don't tell nobody else this, but it's on you this week. You draw it up. You do what you need to do. Let's see what you got. I, that's a theory. That's all
It
speculation. I'm just talking.
could be.
But that's a father and a son, and he's gonna be completely transparent if he's about to hand the keys to this nice Ferrari that he just got for his 18th birthday. It's his first car. He's never been a head coach. He's only been an
Yeah,
assistant, and so I think Bruce Pearl is too smart to just hand it over without any preparing. And I'm not really worried about transfer portal. I think most of the guys emphasis on Tahad Pettiford. I think most of these guys, especially Tahad Pettiford, were very aware of the situation that was going on, of the contradicting between Bruce and himself on what he wanted to do. So they have 30 days. I think the guys that do decide to leave are guys that aren't going to get many minutes. I remember the moment it was announced, Chad Baker Mazara took to Instagram. He said, "Okay, so now y'all understand." So obviously he knew. Or he's just talking because he just loves the attention. I love Chad, but I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad he's gone. He does love the attention. So maybe that was just for the attention. Um, but I'm gonna say that it's not. I don't think Bruce. I think Bruce is way too smart to not let his team know. Hey guys, I might not be here next season. Um, Once again, emphasis, especially to Hyde Pettiford. Um, we lose to Hod Pettiford, I might not watch Auburn basketball. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, yeah, that'd be bad.
But
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
why now? That's the only thing I can think of is to kind of force them into giving Steven the job. I also think there was a lot of confliction within himself, and he didn't know what he wanted to do between running for U.S. Senate, being a head coach. Auburn offered him to be an ambassador, and that kind of caught his ear. And I think right before the day of practice, he was like, "Nah, I cannot give my all. I cannot be the best to my ability, so I'm going to go ahead and hand it to you." And I think he was kind of just waiting for that proper answer from himself. And he got it the day before practice because now is your time to make the decision. I
Yeah.
think what happened was maybe he tried to hype himself into saying, "Oh, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this." One day before practice, he's like, "Nah, here you go," and kind of just announced it.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit deliberate. I think it was a well-kept secret. I think he kind of knew that it was coming, whether or not he would try to push it till late March, early April, into season kind of deal, or whether he would go ahead and pull that trigger. And I think he's a smart man, no doubt about that. I think he knew that if he was having those conflicting thoughts, it was best to go ahead and step aside. Um, yeah, the time, you say U.S. Senate, the Alabama Senate races are a year from now. So, I mean, if he goes and plays until April like he did last year, I mean, that kind of sets him behind trying to do that. So I think he kind of had that realization too. If he does try to run, it's not a guarantee. He hasn't
It's
said
already
anything or not.
it has already been confirmed he's not running for Senate. He
Oh,
confirmed
really?
that in
Okay,
his
dang.
retirement video.
Oh, okay. I did not see that. Interesting.
That's what I was
So
saying about the
regardless,
ambassador thing. They offered him that ambassador to stay at
yeah.
Auburn and not go anywhere, and that was like, oh, I can still be a part of this team without being the head coach, without having to give him my all, and that's what kind of, took him away. Because I think what he had said was him thinking about running for U.S. Senate. He already had to think about leaving the team. So I think he had already started to become okay with that within himself, because that is something that Bruce Pearl wanted to do. He just I don't think he preferred doing that. That's how much of an Auburn man I think he is. I don't think he thought of himself as a Senate. I don't think he. I don't know. I can't tell you why he's not, but I know he's not. Um,
Not
so
this cycle at least.
no,
Maybe in the future. He's
maybe
still got some life ahead of him.
right. Hopefully, God willing.
Yeah, yeah, right.
But
Yeah, no, I think you mentioned the portal window and everything. I don't think anybody transfers, at least anybody relevant.
no,
Um, I think they kind of knew this was coming. If I was an Auburn fan, I wouldn't be worried about that. The only thing that maybe you're worried about is some of these recruiting classes. I don't think you should be that worried about it
I don't
though,
think
if
either.
I'm being honest. And that's coming from a hater. I hate Auburn, right? Or I am a hater of Auburn.
Right.
Um, I don't think that's something to worry about. The only way that could be a concern is if um, Steve Pearl just sucks and they have a
Yeah.
bad season. Then that could be a concern. But that's a concern regardless of no matter where you're at. If you suck, you're gonna recruiting and transfer portal is gonna be an issue.
But see,
I think Auburn's gonna be just fine.
no, you continue. My bad.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be just fine. I think the standard at Auburn, it's like you said, top 10 job in college basketball right now, top 10 program. Same with Alabama. But the standard at those jobs is still not at the level of like a Duke, North Carolina, where it's like they want to win a national championship every year.
Mm,
Yes, we want to win a national championship every year. We've never done it. So
right.
it's hard to have that standard if it's never happened. So I think that plays in Steve's benefit that, if he goes next year and is a round of 32 or round of 16 exit, people aren't calling for his job.
No.
If he just goes and makes the tournament next year, people aren't calling for his job because they know at Auburn, like you can't expect, same thing with Alabama, you can't expect to make the Final Four every year. So I think that helps, but it also gives him time because, like you said, he's what, 38? He has plenty of time to make that the standard at Auburn. I hope he doesn't, but he has plenty of time to set that standard.
The most important thing is not only is Steve Pearl getting the job, but the same, essentially, almost the exact same staff that has been around since
Staff.
2019 is still there.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah,
not only, like, literally all you're losing is Bruce Pearl, essentially.
and he's
While,
still around.
while
He's
that's
not going
right,
anywhere.
while that's a big hit, he's still around, and you still have everybody knows everybody. We all know what we want to do. We all know the execution that we want to perform. So that makes it really easy. And like you said, if they're a round of 32 exit next year, I predict they will be, because this team, is essentially brand new to each other. It's not a whole
Yeah.
bunch of returning guys. There's going to be some growing pains, and so it's not going to be an amazing team, which is I think played in the part why Bruce went ahead and stepped down, because he always said he wanted to go down on top, close as he could get, number one
Yeah.
seed, SEC champs, SEC regular season champs, right?
Regular season. Yes.
So Final Four appearance, so as close as he could get, and like I said, like you said, you wouldn't be concerned. The only thing I'm concerned about is the 1 in a million chance that some team comes with their biggest bag that's a Hod Pettiford and says leave Auburn, and he does it. If that happens,
Hey, he can follow
up.
Aiden Holloway all day.
No. Y'all keep Aiden. We'll keep Zahad.
Come,
I like
come to the A. Come
no,
to the real A.
He's at the A. He's at the
Nah,
AU.
the real A.
Nah.
The real A. U of A. Anyway, I will say, it is sad to see him go. I think he's good for the game of basketball. I know he's had his NCAA stuff. Whatever, I don't care. But I think he's been good for the game of basketball. He's been good for the SEC. Been good for the state of Alabama. I even think he's good for the University of Alabama, because I think Auburn being good at basketball really pushed Alabama to also get good at basketball.
Without Bruce
I don't
Pearl,
see why anybody denies
there's no
that.
Alabama basketball. I'm just
I don't see why that's such a hard thing to say. I mean, like I said, since Nate Oates does have a losing record versus Nate Oates, but it's about even. It's like 5-7, so it's not like Nate Oates is killing them. They've had really good games. They've split most series. Yeah, I will say I've seen Bruce Pearl in person twice. They lost both those times, so I'm sure Bruce never wants to see me in attendance. Because I ain't never seen them win.
Bruce is terrified when Garrett's
It's me. It's me. That's it.
Okay,
It's me.
hey.
If I had gone to every single one of their games, they would have lost every single one of them. Plain and simple.
Hey, if you think so, I disagree, but
yeah, hey, 0-2. What can you say? I mean, lost. I went to one in Coleman a couple of years ago, and then I went to the Final Four game this past year. That was the year the lights went out. I was in there.
You cheated. You're cheating.
I will say, on camera, on TV, it looked way darker than in person. In person, most of us could not tell the lights went out until people started saying, "Wait, is it darker in here?" Because it was still very bright in that arena. I'll say that, which is why it took them so long to blow the whistle, because they kind of let it play on. Remember?
Sounds like the words of a cheater.
Oh yeah.
As neither here nor there,
Hey, I'm gonna who has more NCAA violations, Bruce or Nate?
Hey, who has more Final Four appearances, Bruce or Nate?
By one, and Bruce has coached a lot longer, so
hey, it matters. One matters.
It does. This Cold War of who's gonna be the first one to win a national championship has definitely taken a turn. I would say Alabama's more favored to do that now.
I still think it's Auburn.
But if Steve's legit, then that changes things. But we don't know that yet.
I fully think he's legit. I would prefer Steve over a random coach. Definitely.
Yeah, no, I think he could be. I don't know anything about him. So that's, I'm not going to predict something I know nothing about. I try not to, at least. I genuinely know nothing about him, except he's Steve Pearl's son. He's been on coaching staff, like you said, 2014. Never been a head coach. That is the extent of what I know about him.
Right. This was a really long episode. We did a lot of talking today.
Yeah.
So, again, I figure we both want to get out of here. My wife peeked her head in a few minutes ago, telling me to, kind of hurry it up and get on out of here.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, any final thoughts?
Nah. Other than the closer this weekend gets, the more and more nervous and excited I get. I'm ready.
Hey, same, bro. If Auburn wins, that'll be huge. Going 4-1 into the bye week for Auburn would be huge, and
definitely
a bounce back win for Bama is much needed to put them back on the map. So both of us are gonna be going through it this weekend, and I do not pray for your success, and I don't figure you pray for mine. So
no, No, not at all.